Live from San Antonio, Mike Taylor.
Well, believe it or not, this is the 91st episode we've done of this show. A lot of people think we just started doing it recently. We started doing it every day recently, but this is actually episode Nueve y Uno? Let's see, 91. It is Wednesday. It is the 5th of July. It is Taylor Live. And it is People I Want to Punch Wednesday. I don't know if it's because I've tried to just get negative things out of my thought processes as I get older. I just don't want to be around a bunch of negative. I don't want to be around a bunch of negative people. I don't have time for assholes. I'd like to enjoy, the rest of my youth at 48 years old, if you want to call it youth, until I'm old and can't do a lot. I want to enjoy my life and not be pissed off all the time. I'm not going to lie. I'm having a hard time coming up with a human being that I want to punch. I mean, there are people in the world, there are celebrities I know that are assholes, but I don't have any particular reason to punch anybody for any particular reason today. And that's a hell of a way to start our show off, but I'm trying to become more peaceful, more easy feeling, and not be so ornery and blowhardy.
You're just gonna quote Eagles songs all episode here?
Yeah. I'm trying to get happier in my middle age. I don't know what it is. I cannot think of anybody to punch. Maybe while you guys are punching people, proverbially, of course, euphemistically, not for real, I'll come up with somebody, and maybe we should get into this more in depth on a later show where I've decided, I've started deleting sad songs off my playlist and everything. I'm on to Cincinnati, man. I don't want to dwell on negative shit. I want to stay positive. My dad's like that. I think I'm starting to get that from him. My pops has no time for bitching. Like even on a text thread that we've had, my brother and my cousin and my dad and me have been on a text thread for the better part of a decade. In the last year or so, Big Mike's just gotten to the point where he'll either not engage at all with any of our arguments or slander of ball players, which is fun because my pops just wants to keep it all positive. Wants to have a good time with sports and says that all this talk radio and Scream TV is fucked up sports. So, I can't.
Not here to say he's wrong.
I've tried to channel some of that attitude, and be happier. And this, I can't think of anybody to punch. I know there's people out there that deserve it. Who are you punching today and why?
I was trying to find the specific name of the construction company, but it's a sad week.
Who? Here, I'll see if I can help you find it.
I was trying to find the construction company that is in charge of all of the work being done on the St. Mary's Strip.
Oh, God only knows.
I see.
Some city hired contract.
Well, I remember for a while it was being published in every article, and it seems like their name hasn't been attached to the articles as much lately. It almost feels like there were maybe some pressure put on local journalists to stop mentioning the exact name of the construction company every time they talk about it.
You don't know that.
I don't. I'm just piecing some different data points together.
Sure.
It's just odd that all of a sudden when it's announced the project's going to actually go an additional 6 months, you stop getting direct references to the exact company.
Is that company now advertising in the Express News?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, see, this is innuendo.
No, I don't.
You don't know.
No, I have no clue.
You really don't know. You don't remember the name of the company?
No, I can't remember because it changed hands for the contract went to another company because the first company fucked it up so bad, and then the second company is the one that's saying now because of, and this was back in February, they were saying because of all of the poor work to begin with that was done, it's now going to delay our fixing the issue another 6 months.
Right.
But all of that to say, punch all the construction crews that have worked on the St. Mary's Strip. Because unfortunately, this past weekend, my buddy Aaron Pena that owns Amor Eterno, one of our spots to be found after midnight.
Sure.
Wednesday through Saturday.
Every day.
Well, they're only open Wednesday through Saturday.
It's such a small place.
That's why it's great, yeah. It's intimate.
It's nut to butt in there.
That's correct.
I like going in there on occasion because it's so crowded and I get weirded out.
Yeah, that's why I smoke cigarettes on the porch. But regardless.
Yeah. Okay. What happened over there?
He owns Amore. He also owns Squeeze Box on the Strip.
They're done.
They're done.
Mm-hmm.
He announced this past weekend that this will be their final month.
Is it because people couldn't get to the bar and just gave up on it and he's lost too much money? Is it really that?
He's lost over from year to year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year compared to 2021. Basically, first year coming back. No, I think he compared it to, it was the first year before the pandemic versus this last year, I think is what it was, because he was quoted in an article over $400,000 difference.
Jeez.
Year to year.
Was it the old Who song, Mama's got a squeeze box, Daddy never sleeps at night? She's vibrating her clitoris.
Well, he's more referencing the traditional instrument of choice for conjunto and tejano music.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
an accordion.
Right.
A squeeze box.
Oh, okay. It wasn't a play on the Who song.
Wasn't a wasn't a clit teaser.
Dude, I don't know who is to. Okay, I'm going to piggyback off. You're punching. You've triggered that.
We can at least, if nothing else, punch the city manager,
Whoever it is,
who's overseeing.
Well, I mean, whoever is at fault. Let's get to the bottom of it.
Rod something.
Rod Tidwell.
No, not Rod Tidwell.
Let's get to the bottom of it as a show here. We can do journalistic
How many years?
endeavors.
When was it that we had Ron on this very program?
Last summer.
That was last summer.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about the construction and the issues at St. Mary's.
And he was pissed, and he's flustered.
And I asked what has actually been done from then till today.
I'll tell you
because
what,
it looks
it's gotten
exactly
worse.
the same.
No,
if
I
not
think it's worse. Okay, so I can't, and where I live has been under construction since we moved in there in December of 2022.
Oh, Eric Walsh, that's the dude.
Eric Walsh, he's been around a minute.
City manager, yeah.
I don't know if we're punching him or not, but maybe it's a collective of people.
It falls under his.
I mean, it's under
It falls
his
under
watch.
his umbrella, yeah.
And clearly he's not doing anything about it. Whether or not it's his fault, he's clearly not doing anything about it. There's the Hal and Shannon El Gato Dropbox these boys have been playing with for the better part of the week. Get them all out.
No.
Let's overdo it. It's okay.
Good,
No, it's okay. I was going to say, there's construction that's been in and around my area, whether it's a new freeway or they're building an apartment complex or they're refurbishing a building. I don't remember the last time I've taken a drive. Damn sure not this calendar year. And we're in July. I don't remember the last time that I had taken a drive that lasted more than 5 minutes that I did not get affected some way or impacted some way by construction. It's to the point now where I never leave my apartment anymore without checking Siri first, just to make sure, like, okay, I've got to go to HEB. All right, I know how to go. I know where my HEB is, but let me make sure I check the route because it may be under construction. And the traffic may be backed up to Hong Kong, so maybe I take back roads. I have not taken a drive in this town in 6 months without having to at least, maybe I don't go around the construction. I have to go through it a lot, where it's inevitable and you've got to just fight through it. It's ridiculous. What goes on 1604 these days up at the I-10 interchange by the rim?
Oh, that looks awful.
Fucking criminal.
Yeah.
They're going to have, someone's going to die sitting in traffic one of these days up there, have a heart attack or something, because there's nowhere to go once you get stuck in that, where they've got it all concreted off now. And it just looks like bombs have gone off in Beirut in the mid-'80s over there with all the rubble everywhere. And I get that you got to break it all up to, sweep it out of there and build new roads. By the time all that's done up there, we're going to be old men, and there's going to be so many people in this town, they're going to have to redo that.
Oh, yeah. By the time it's done, it'll be outdated.
We've got to make some progress on construction in some parts of the city because every freaking corner of this town right now is under construction, and it's a good one, Puma. I don't know who to punch specifically, but it's a fucking ass whip.
There are good problems to have because that means there's obviously massive growth and investment locally. But the one on the Strip is like, I'm not putting my tinfoil hat on or, scouring 4chan to come up with ideas of why it's happening specifically at the Strip. But
It's all over the city.
it is. But that's such a small area of construction. That's a much smaller project in scope than building an entire on-ramp for I-10 and 1604.
Right.
Like, all it is widening the street and putting sidewalks in. Like, it shouldn't take
Taking forever.
3 years to do that.
It's ruining business.
And it's ruining business,
Yep.
specifically ruining locally owned businesses.
coming out of a pandemic.
Businesses coming out of a pandemic, businesses that cater specifically to crowds of individuals, that residents of that area, not longtime residents, but residents that moved there in the last 5 to 10 years, don't enjoy the nightlife aspect of living in Tobin Hill, but yet they chose to live there. They moved there. They wanted to be there knowing that it was an entertainment hub. They fight against any labels of it as an entertainment district because it's not technically city labeled. It's not an entertainment district. It's just an organic entertainment area or entertainment district, but without the distinction from the city. The fact that all of that property has skyrocketed in value as the Pearl has not only become what it is currently, but started to expand even deeper into the neighborhood on the backside that you can't see. You don't realize how far back all of that is getting redeveloped with a lot of bigger interest money and not local small business owner money. Just feels like there are a lot of pressure points that are only fucking over the local small business owner. That's going to leave a vacuum for people that already have interest, whether it be NIMBYs that live in the neighborhood that hate the businesses that are there, that were there long before they moved there, or the deeper, corporate money that the Pearl generates. It feels like whether it's the city intentionally doing it, whether it's a offshoot of the effects that the city didn't necessarily foresee happening, but now are not doing anything to stop it. Whatever the cause of it is, it really feels like there is an intentional push being made against the business owners of that area to leave it to be developed further by other interest. And that's the part where I don't immediately jump to conspiracy theories, but it really feels like there's something more sinister at play.
I don't think that that's going to be an entertainment district in 20 years or 5. It's just not like it's been. Just admit that St. Mary's Strip's changing forever because it's becoming more of a neighborhood. Just tell us that.
But it's not that it's becoming more of a neighborhood.
And it's also taken way too long.
It's not that it's becoming more of a neighborhood because
All these people are moving there.
Right, but it's been a college neighborhood for
Not
decades.
anymore. It's changing.
Right, and that's where I say the NIMBYs that are moving in and are
NIMBY.
Yeah, someone who complains about someone who wants to come in, moves from out of the area, comes in and don't California my Texas. Like a Californian moving to Texas is a NIMBY.
Okay.
Someone that's moving here and wants to change the culture and the way things are done to fit what they're comfortable with instead of assimilating and enjoying the culture. They want to change it. They want to get rid of it.
Well, the only defense I have for that, and that project's taken way too long. But it's not like that's
too long.
The whole city's under construction. So you can say that they're taking too long in every part of the town. Every part of the towns that I drive in. How long?
Yeah, but I-10 and 1604 don't have the same cultural importance as the St. Mary's Strip. Like there's nothing you're not saving or ruining anything by building an overpass out there. Like you're ruining culture and small business owners' lives by what's happening on the Strip.
Again, I just don't think it's going to be what it was. It's not. I mean, Austin Highway used to be that. And that changed. They tore down all the whorehouses and got rid of
all the fun.
casinos, and now it's just rando places.
Yeah,
I just don't think.
barbecue
I just think
joints.
it's changing. I don't think it's gonna go back. It's not gonna get saved. Just fucking hurry up with the. If that's fine, you're gonna widen the roads there, and put sidewalks up, and great. But hurry up already. That's what's costing the business to go out.
Sure.
Because they're taking forever.
No, yeah, no.
I don't know about sucking the culture out, but the project itself's taken too long.
Well, it sucks the culture out if all of a sudden all of these small business owners are ran out of business and immediately some chain bar comes in
It
and
depends
opens
on what
up.
shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
We're getting ready to have a baseball park built down there too.
Somewhere.
Probably pretty close for when the missions get ready to do whatever they're going to do. LG, you punching anybody today? And why, if you are?
Yeah, I want to punch CPS.
The CEO of CPS. Let's
Sure,
punch
why
this.
not?
Yeah. People don't want to punch. It needs to be more personal.
Oh, I got
You
you.
get to punch somebody. Let's go with the
Okay.
CEO. It's fucking
Punch the
It's their
CEO
fault.
or who's ever in charge of the peak energy demand system, which takes over my thermostat and turns it up
What?
to about 80 every day around 3:30.
What kind of communism did you opt into? Letting them control your utilities like that?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't remember signing up for anything, but every day I have to adjust it, and it says you will no longer be saving blah 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 with CPS.
Whoa.
I don't know if they give me kickback
I was
for
about
that.
to say that means they've got to give you some kind of financial kickback.
I don't think they do. I think it's more of a. I get like an email that has like a ranking system, and it says like, "Oh, your house was in like the top 10 today
Who
of
gives
peak
a
energy
fuck?
savings."
Yeah,
but
I mean-
I don't see any difference in the bill.
Yeah, what's the value of? So it's just peer pressure of basically trying to say,
I
you're
feel
in
like
the top 10 percentile.
Yeah,
You
but
could
like
be
it's like
in the
leave my
top five.
thermostat alone. Like don't touch it. You know,
Yeah,
if I
that-
set it a certain degree, I want it to be right there.
They
I want
crank
it,
it
to be cool
up
in
to
here.
what?
80. They crank it up to 80. Yeah,
Now,
every
can
day.
you go right over and
Yeah.
turn it down?
Yeah, I can
And it
change
stays down.
Yeah, it stays. It
But
gives me
once
a
a day.
warning that I'm no longer meeting peak energy demand or whatever.
Mao
And there's like a
Zedong
little
running
there's like a little
CPS.
leaf. It's a stupid smart thermostat. That was my first mistake.
That's the first problem.
Yeah, that's the first problem.
Okay.
So. But punch CPS for taking over my damn thing.
Whenever I'm listening to tunes or even this show or any other podcast on Spotify, my phone automatically turns down the volume on me.
Huh?
Yeah, I'll get a message. It'll say
You're going to blow your ears out?
it's a message from the iPhone, Tim Cook at Apple or whoever's to blame. My phone, like I'll have it up all the way. They'll turn it down in like 4 knots. I'll be in the middle of a great tune, rocking out, and then the volume will go way down, and I'll get a note. It'll make a little sound, and it'll get a little message saying volume at too high of a level. This could be bad for your ears. The fuck you?
There's got to be a
tell
setting
me.
for that.
the first
would
thing I
think
do
so.
when I get a new phone, I go in and immediately
Deactivate,
deactivate,
unnotarize. Yeah.
get rid of the Amber Alerts, get rid of all of the.
Oh yeah, I turn off all the emergency alerts. I hate those
Everything.
things.
Man,
Yeah.
let you
Shit
play
like
with
that.
my phone because I need to. I don't want you to. Don't turn my shit down. I know it's loud. That's what I know.
It's
That's
literally
I'm-
why I turned it up.
It's
max
Metallica.
level.
Of course, it's loud, ass bag. God Almighty.
It's fucking Chopin.
All right, show
I'm
brought to you
jamming
by
out.
Impart Hardwick Mortgage. If you're thinking about upgrading and wondering how much you can afford, call to get pre-qualified with my boy Brad, the official mortgage man of Thunderdome at hardwickmortgage.com. Home values have increased significantly. You read about it all the time in the papers in the last few years, and you can use equity in your home to pay off other debts or access needed cash. If you sell your house today, you'll have money in pocket, and Brad can help you with that over at Hardwick Mortgage. If you're in the market for a new home, Hardwick Mortgage can shop across multiple lenders to get the best deal for you. If you're looking to purchase a new or used manufactured home with land, looking to purchase acreage, call my boys at Hardwick Mortgage. It is hardwickmortgage.com. The information presented for informational purposes. This is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Information and/or dates are subject to change without notice. All these loans are subject to credit approval. Other restrictions may apply as a result of refinancing. Your total finance charges may be higher over the life of the loan. Visit hardwickmortgage.com for more info. It is Hardwick Financial Services, NMLS ID 1972012. Hardwickmortgage.com. Call my man Brad. I never dealt with a mortgage dude till, 2016, sold a house and worked out. Wound up pocketing a pretty good chunk of change on that first sale. So hit my man up, Brad, over at Hardwick Mortgage. Okay. What else today? So this past weekend, and I know you didn't watch it. Lawrence, did you watch Succession ever? Golly. We just finished Succession, and now we've morphed into watching The Bear. You know, Nina and I, we do about one major show a run, right? I can't watch I can't watch 3 or 4 great shows simultaneously. I just don't have the time, and my ADHD won't let me focus on 4 at a time. Like, we'll watch shitty
does
shows.
that?
Lots of
Really?
people. Are y'all binge one show, then move on?
I got to.
See, I know people
Like,
that watch 3 or 4 shows at once.
I can't imagine watching something like The Bear, like comedy shows. Like we'll watch like It's Always Sunny,
Now that
Gemstones.
you can watch comedy simultaneously.
Yeah,
but
What
not
We Do in the Shadows,
Succession
but
or
not
The
something
Bear.
intense like that.
It's almost like reading a book. Almost.
Yeah.
I can't read books at the same time either, unless it's like a do-it-yourself home how to fix cars.
Sure.
That's different. But something deep, something dramatic, something very, very classic and good, one at a time. So we finished Succession finally, and we're on to The Bear, the show that Puma and I both love very much. And Puma was asking me this week, had I started The Bear yet? And we have. We're episode 3 in. And then Sam's like, well, hell, we watched it all this weekend. Y'all finished it this weekend.
Yeah, we did. So
the
it's
new season 2.
I think the first season was only 8 episodes. This one's 10 episodes, but they're
short.
They're all 30 to 40 minutes, except for one. And the one that's an hour long might be.
Is it the finale?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool the way they did it. I'm glad you.
But yeah, don't tell me much.
I'm not gonna run it.
Yeah.
But first 4 episodes are 30 to 40 minutes. The 5th episode is an hour long, and it's a flashback, just like they did in the first season. They had the one episode that was a flashback. They do it again, but it's a Christmas episode. It might be the greatest depiction of a holiday dinner and family being back around each other that I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I cannot overstate how great that episode is. It's got a bunch of guest appearances from really, really, really good actors and actresses. Like, will blow you away. The way it depicts Michael, the older brother who offed himself.
Yeah.
The way it depicts his.
We can give that away because it
happens in the first
that's
season.
The first,
yeah,
that's the premise
and
of
it's
the whole
not you learn it in the first episode of the first season. It's
Right.
not. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
surprise there.
Right.
But the way it depicts his beginning, his unraveling mental health, and starting to slip closer and closer towards suicide. Again, it might be the best hour of television broadcasting I've ever watched in my life. It's extremely powerful.
Most of the episodes are 30 minutes ish.
Yeah.
And they're super fast, and they're so well done. Like, this is not like a sitcom from back in the day, a 30-minute sitcom. We're talking, 17, 18 minutes of actual programming because of the commercial breaks.
Basically 21 after commercials.
This thing here, it's about 30 minutes without commercials, and most of the episodes are usually only about 3 scenes.
Yeah, not a whole lot. Well, okay.
Because it's got so much dialogue, and it all takes place within like almost real time.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
You
how they do
remember-
that. It's hard to do that and make it good, and they do it great.
Their ability to control the pace of the show is amazing, but it's really just an accurate depiction of industry life. Like that, the way the show paces itself is really more driven by the environment of it being in a crazy, kitchen, restaurant, that drives, it makes a lot of that. It doesn't feel rushed. It feels authentic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it doesn't feel forced. It feels accurately depicted.
One of the episodes in season 1 of The Bear was a 19-minute scene in real time.
It was just a one shot.
What was the movie?
One camera.
Dunkirk?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they did something like that over the course of
They
like
faked
18
it
minutes.
in Dunkirk, though.
Correct. This thing was
1917 or something like that.
Yeah,
Another movie
19.
did it.
That's it. My bad. Not Dunkirk.
Not
1970.
Dunkirk.
It was like 18 straight minutes of one scene.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. Have you seen The Bear at all?
No, not
should,
not
dude.
one episode.
You're such a
I've
TV
seen like the
guy.
trailer for it. But
Why?
yeah.
You should.
Why did you never get into?
I don't have time. I got too many other things going on. Too many other shows.
But it's
Fair,
okay. Well, what are
fair.
you watching right now that you're loving that's fairly new? Because you watch a shit ton of TV.
I'm just watching
Love Boat reruns.
I don't really watch a lot of TV these days.
Okay, because you did before.
yeah, I'm behind on my TV watching right now. I watch like Gemstones and
That's good right now.
the new Sunny in Philly's good. But
Okay, time out.
I'm not caught up, so I've only seen the first two.
Let me just tell you, I think it's episode 4. I think it's episode 4 or 5 of the new season. They reenact the anal bead chest cheating scandal.
Okay, I can relate to that.
You need to-
I don't know. I've seen a couple
You need to
episodes
go watch
with
the
you.
episode because Danny DeVito is the one that. Just imagine
Is Danny
little
the one with the beads up
That's
in him?
correct. He's the one that's
Playing-
playing the Russian Grandmaster in it. The show's been a little up or down the last few seasons, but that episode hit. No, talking about the bear though. Remember when we got really big into season 1?
Yep.
And we were, both of us were kind of like, I think I don't need any more. I've got that story.
Right.
I've heard. I know that story. Like I don't know where they can go that's going to keep me entertained
Yeah.
because it feels like that was the story. They told it, and let's move on.
Well, they found a way,
They-
clearly.
Buddy,
Yeah.
beyond found a way.
Yeah.
I mean the further character development, and you mentioned, season 1 was mainly happening just all at the restaurant.
Yeah.
This next season they branch off, and you get a little more set pieces featuring other characters that further develop their arc and help you understand their backstory.
Yeah.
I want 2 or 3 more seasons now
I'm
after
a big
watching
fan of
season
that,
2.
the guy that plays the lead, Jeremy Allen White. He was in. Did you ever watch Shameless on Showtime?
Oh yeah, he played a Flip, right?
Lip.
Yeah.
Lip.
Yeah.
Lip. It was
Yeah.
Philip, but they called him Lip.
There you
He's
go.
the lead character in this. It's great. It's awesome. And Puma's right. Like the detail they use and just. It's not. It's a look inside what it's like to be a part of a Greasy Spoon restaurant, but it's so human
Not Greasy
elemented.
Spoon anymore.
Okay, see, there you go.
Well,
dude.
I've had buddies of mine that have worked in
you
these
doing?
Greasy Spoon restaurants, and they've watched The Bear, and they said it gives them PTSD.
Yeah, big time. Well, all the executive producers are chefs, like Matty Matheson, who plays, the fat dude with the face tattoos and shit. He's a world-renowned chef,
Okay, cool.
and he's one of the executive
Have I
producers.
seen him on the Cooking Network?
I'm sure.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I've seen him before. I
Yeah,
just
he's-
can't. I couldn't place it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's more of a digital influencer type that blew up
Okay.
on social media, and then
It's just so well done. Well, I like human interest stories. I don't care what the premise of anything is, but what they just like. I don't know shit about the restaurant business, but I just.
But
can't,
you're in.
Absolutely. 'Cause
See,
I
I
need to
think-
see what happens to this dude
that's the thing about that show is,
and his cousin.
like LG was saying, like if you are industry or you worked in a kitchen, you're going to get PTSD because it's so accurate. If you've never worked hospitality industry your entire life,
Yeah.
you're still going to enjoy it, but on different levels, different enjoyment, different parts of the story are going to not resonate with you as much because you don't have the experience, but you're still going to be fully invested in what's happening without that personal connection.
I was a bus boy for about 1 week
You beat
in
me.
in the hellscape. I lasted 4 shifts over the course of 7 days in the hellscape because I needed the extra money. And can't imagine, and of course this will come off arrogant, I guess. Like I'm a talk show host by day, but I'm in such I'm struggling with money living in Hawaii where I've got this pretty decently paid talk show during the day, but I need money. And so I decided I got a job bussing tables at a place called Giovanni Pastrami in Waikiki. It's owned by Chinese people.
Okay, hold time out.
It's Hawaii.
Giovanni
Pastrami. Yeah, it's good.
in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Owned by Chinese people.
And it's great. But
It's America in a nutshell.
I spent 4 days bussing tables. But they also had me do other stuff. Like I would help. I worked in the kitchen for 3 hours and helped basically just put shit on a counter for the chefs. I spent 3 or 4 hours at a time at the front door as a host, helping people sit, and then had to go bus tables the whole time, and just got a real inside look at just how fucking hard that is as a job, and how you go home just exhausted, just completely spent. I don't know, people that work in the restaurant business full time, I don't know how they mix in time for anything leisure, because when I got home, I collapsed. I was dirty. My shoes were gross. I had spaghetti sauce in my fingernails every night. It sucked. And I quit after 4 days because Amon called from Texas Cheer Liquor and decided to be the title sponsor of our show. I'm serious. He bailed me out. I would have continued to have to, and they were, after 1 month, they were going to let, because I told them, look, I'm 48 years old, guys. I can't bust tables, but I need the job and I appreciate it. So, and they're like, well, no, we get it. And we have a driver's job coming up, but if you can give us a month bussing, because the guy's leaving, I had a guaranteed job where I was going to be a delivery driver. I was just going to like deliver food for the restaurant to people around the city. And thank God I was able to get out of that job. So I have a whole different appreciation for those in restaurants. And the Bear just captures it beautifully. And it's so convincing.
I've told you about my first weekend living in San Antonio, right?
What, you vowed to move after a week?
No.
So uncool. Everybody was stupid.
No,
Traffic was terrible.
That was the week before I moved here, when I might or might not have drunkenly peed into the river downtown and said, I'm never going to live here. And now 12 years later, I'm never moving.
Yeah.
No, the first weekend when I moved over here from San Marcos, from Texas State, same deal. Just I needed cash. That first weekend, moved in with Steph. We were, had never lived in the same city ever. Mm-hmm. And now we were going to be roommates, overnight. Yeah. And so I was like, well, shit, I need some cash. Like, I'm not going to be able to. I just re-upped. I just got a new QP. I blew all my cash. I wasn't expecting to move over to San Antonio, but alas.
You didn't work for a Chinese joint?
Well, before I made it to the Chinese restaurant, the very first weekend, I moved over on a Tuesday. Yeah. And took a few days to try to find a job. Got a job at the original Mexican restaurant down on the Riverwalk. Waited tables Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
You never told me this.
Afternoon. Oh. So I got cash Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday I'm telling stuff. And like I worked in restaurants before, so it wasn't a culture shock, but it's working at a barbecue restaurant in Stephenville, Texas versus working at a tourist Mexican food restaurant on the Riverwalk, quite different levels of stress, Sure. And so by day 3, I literally, and great money. I mean, it made, over, half $1,000, $500-600 in 2.5 days from tips. But I mean, I was working doubles because I just wanted money fast. Yeah. And Saturday morning,
Puma working a double shift on a day.
What do you mean? I did that all the time. Whenever I'd run a morning show, and then just for you, come back and do an afternoon program. Yeah, working doubles. Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
Anyway, you
technically
made
working a double today. Thank you.
You made $500 in 2 days.
So Saturday morning, I told Steph,
45-minute shift.
That's a lot of work, bro. Told Steph. It's like I just don't think I don't think I'm made. I don't think I'm cut for this from this cloth. I don't think I'm made for it. Even holding a tray at this height,
Yeah.
Paranoia, man. Like I'm
Sure.
worried, just everything could go wrong instantly. So yeah, Saturday afternoon, I worked the first half of a double and told those boys, thanks, but appreciate the opportunity.
It's so hard. It's thankless.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my cash and go.
All right, show brought to you by Hank the Realtor, Vortex Realty. There's a shortage of homes to buy right now. So if you've been thinking about selling your house, this is a hell of a good time to do it. Call Hank. Hank lives up in Barney. He's Poodle Thunderdome, and he's the official realtor of Thunderdome and this radio show and this television show and this YouTube show and this Spotify show. Vortex Realty. Go get you a free market analysis from those boys and call Hank at that number, 311-21, and find out what your property is worth. Maybe you know somebody, maybe a neighbor, a dad, a buddy, getting ready to try to sell a house too. They want to find out what their property could probably fetch. Call Hank. Maybe your mom and daddy are getting older. Maybe you want to find out what the old homestead's worth. Call Hank. Maybe you got a ranch you want to sell. Call Hank. Maybe you got a farm you want to go value. Not sure. What the hell is this farm worth, Daddy? Hell, I don't know. What is this farm worth? I don't know. Call Hank. He's going to tell us.
It's offensive to my culture.
No obligations. Just call or text Hank your address for free comps on your property. 311-21. Again, it's Hank at Vortex Realty. 311-21. Call Hank. All right, we have a lot of Spurs stuff that's happened this week that I like, some little nougats that I want to get to them so we can get them out of the way here before Wembanyama's debut in Vegas on Friday.
At some point we've got to talk about what the Rockets did as well, because
let's just do it here.
Overpaying.
Let's do it here.
The definition of what they did.
Let's get let's go on. I'm gonna say, be honest. Except for Puma, who's ever heard of the Georgian-born Sandro Mamukelashvili?
He was here.
I know.
He was here last season.
But you would have had to watch games.
What was he?
I did not.
DePaul, I think he went to college.
Sandro
Mamukelashvili.
Seton Hall. Okay. The country of Georgia, not the state of. He was apparently on the team last season.
Home of Nicholas Skidishvili.
He apparently played for the Spurs. And they're bringing him back on a one-year deal. He came in and was solid for them. After Milwaukee released him in March, and he averaged 11 points and 7 boards in 19 games. And hell, he even had apparently he started 7 games for the Spurs last season.
Damn sure did, Mike.
Damn sure did play for the Spurs. Well, good on him then. His legacy will be he was part of Team Tank. He's helped get the number 1 pick, so that'll be his legacy. He was there when they were horrible.
He's got solid role player potential. I mean, a guy with size, with ball handling ability and passing ability. So, there's room for him in modern NBA.
When I saw that he had re-signed, he's only a 23-year-old kid.
But there's also a reason he's a 23-year-old kid and only got a 1-year, $2 million contract. Let's not overblow him.
Yeah, I won't blow him at all if he even plays this year.
Let's underblow him.
It's underblow him. He don't deserve to get blowed too hard. But Greg Popovich had an interesting quote about him. Basically admitted we prefer European players over the Americans.
Sure.
Something that we've thought for a while with that team.
I mean, the more skilled player fits their system.
Yeah, sure.
Versus raw athleticism.
See, and it's funny. Like there are people that work in national broadcast outlets that have accused Steven Jackson, that have accused Pop of not liking the American-born black kid. Pop he can't handle kids from the hood. And I've always treaded lightly around that. But it's not like they've had a lot of, quote, kids from the hood here with the Spurs for the better part of 20 years. Because it's not that they can't handle kids from the hood. They just would rather have kids from Europe. Why would you just say a minute ago? They come with a hell of a lot better coached.
Yeah, well, they're
way more ready to play.
Yeah.
So Pop was asked about There's
not a in the middle of his name. No, it's not a fat boy
Here's the
song.
Pop quote. He's athletic. He's got size. He's European, which makes me love him right off the bat because I think those guys are unbelievably well coached and overall understand the game better than most of us here do.
Yeah.
That's a quote.
There's nothing wrong with
he moves without the ball. He shoots it pretty well. He can pass. He's got good speed. I like everything about him. that points, and that makes me feel even better about Victor Wembanyama, who's played in the pro leagues in the French league for the last 2 years. He comes in here at 19, probably more ready to play in the NBA. Now, of course, he's got that ridiculous skill. We know that, but he's just who's more ready to go play in the NBA? Some kid that played for Kelvin Sampson at Houston last year, or a kid that's been playing in the French Pro League for 2 years? Give me the kid from France.
Majority of the time, it's the kid that's
The majority
playing in the
yeah,
pro.
of course, all
league.
these rules have. Oh, yeah,
course.
yeah, of course. The Spurs were involved in a multi-team trade this week, so they have a City and a Jetty now. City, Sissoko, and they've got Jetty. It's spelled C-E-D-I, Jetty. It's pronounced like jetty, like a jetty out in the ocean.
Really?
Jetty. Yeah,
I've
I looked it
always
up.
called him Seti.
SETI, no, it's Jetty. Just sound, hard J.
Huh.
Jetty Osman, a forward from Macedonia.
He was LeBron's favorite in Cleveland.
Sure, by way of Turkey. They brought in a forward called Lamar Stevens. I'm going with he's an American. And a second-round pick. That's part of a deal involving Cleveland and Miami. Although neither one of these people here, Osman or Stevens, is even guaranteed a roster spot. But they had a hole after what Kaida Bates-Diop went to the Suns, I want to say.
Yep.
And they're only going to pay Osman $7 million. They're going to pay Stevens about $2 million. And both of them are in the last years of their deals, so both or one could be moved. Osman's been decent off the bench in Cleveland in the last 5-6 years, and Stevens is a rando off the bench. And they could either buy him out, trade him, keep one of them. We'll see. But they did that. What else did the Spurs do? And then we'll move on. They re-signed Trey Jones to a 2-year, $20 million deal.
Fair market value.
Sure, whether he winds up being the long-term starter or not. You and I talked about Trey Jones before. He may be here 10 years, but I'm not sure in what capacity.
Sure.
I said
His
maybe he
role
can come
will
off and be a Patty Mills type
fluctuate.
guy. All right.
But in this market, in a market where Dylan Brooks gets 4 years, $80 million from Houston, getting Trey Jones 2 for $10 a year is good business.
That's the going rate for a guy like Trey Jones. You mentioned the Rockets. So the Rockets have been busy as hell. The Rockets have brought in, let's see. They brought in Patty Mills, although they're trying to move Patty. That was just part of a deal.
He's going to end up in Oklahoma City, it sounds like.
Patty?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good for him.
Yeah.
That'd be good for them. Patty Mills he can help a franchise. They brought in Fred VanVleet as their new point guard.
Not just brought him in, but paid him like he's a 6 or 8 time All-Star.
Yeah, and they brought in, as you mentioned, Dylan Brooks, who was the real good defenseman in Memphis last year that pissed everybody off because
we need to
he liked to talk shit and call people out, but then when he didn't play well, he liked to duck the media.
We need to pump the brakes on calling Dylan Brooks a elite defender or was really good at defense.
He tries hard.
And that's exactly. There are so many times where people that watch basketball think the guy that's just hustling is really good at defense. Like,
you don't like what Houston did? You don't like Brooks and VanVleet?
Hate it. Absolutely
I think they're much better.
But that's not hard to say. I mean, if Oakland signs one third or fourth starter, they're much better because the rest of their guys are farmhands. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Oh, well, yeah, like but the Rockets have some young talent.
They've got
now they've got two good veteran players.
And Green and like Jabari Smith. Like they've got young talent that's really interesting. But bringing in a 29-year-old VanVleet and giving Dylan Brooks at $20 million a year, the Memphis Grizzlies are looking to be a contending team as soon as Jaw gets back from suspension. But they've got their expectations set beyond just being a playoff team. I mean, they view themselves as a championship contender, and they were what, 2 seed, 3 seed? I mean, 2 seed.
Till the kid melted down, they had a chance to go far.
That team chose to get rid of a starter from their team, from their roster, in Dylan Brooks, because they just don't want him anymore.
They made no effort to bring him back.
They told him, your relationship with this team is over. We're not even offering you any kind of free agent offer, any kind of contract. We're done. We want no part of you. And then Houston goes and gives him 4 years, $80 million. First of all, who are they negotiating against? Secondly,
nobody.
when a team that views itself as a championship contender says to that player, we want no part of you anymore, what are you thinking giving like a championship contender wants no part of him and you're giving him 4 years, $80 million?
No, Houston's not a championship contender.
Right.
And
that's
he can
why-
help them. They're just trying to build somewhere.
And I get.
He's a good
the
player.
I
He's
like
a
the Van
starter.
Fleet signing. I don't like the money. They way overpaid, but they probably had to. I get it. Overpaying for a guy like Dylan Brooks, though, who he's not going to be option B or even C on the offensive side of the ball. He's going to block minutes from those younger pieces that we were talking about. You're still not a playoff team with that roster, and you're committing now $200 million between Van Fleet and Dylan Brooks over the next 3 and 4 years, respectively. I just don't know where that gets them. It feels like a lot. They splashed a lot of money, but in terms of the guys that they actually spent it on, I don't see a whole lot of impact over not just this first year, but over the course of this deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Dylan Brooks is young either.
Yeah, while the Spurs just chill.
He's on the backside of 20
With
now.
all that money that we have under the cap, we're not going to spend money because we can.
And that's what it felt. It feels like that's the contrasting styles because outside of, obviously the Spurs core is made better. It's buoyed by Wembanyama being at the top. Yeah. But if you look at the rest of the young pieces that the Spurs have versus the young pieces Houston have, Spurs have 1A in Wembanyama, but then the Rockets have the next 4 best prospects between Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., Shinguin, even Kevin Porter Jr. They have that next, before you get to Keldon, and I would put Keldon ahead of Kevin Porter Jr., but at least Houston has the next 3 best prospects when you look at both rosters. So they're in very similar positions of looking to take that growth with this young group. And if the Spurs had gone out and signed Van Fleet and Dylan Brooks in the way the Rockets did, I would be pulling my hair out. It would be incredibly frustrating. Yeah, that's the difference of maybe 8 to 10 games difference in terms of record at the end of the year, and investing $200 million for guys that aren't going to. I mean, maybe Van Fleet makes 1 or 2 more All-Star teams, or 1 or 2 All-Stars in the time he's in Houston. But it's not like you're not building around him for even the next 6 years. He's already 28, or he's already 29.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I like both those guys.
In a vacuum.
But on that team.
Exactly.
And it seems like throwing money out.
Exactly.
You have it.
And if the Spurs had done that, it feels like we would be talking about how that's going to set them back, not lead into the future.
Right. Yeah. Where 8 games better sets you back for 2 years.
Exactly.
You don't need to do that.
Because committing $200 million for guys that are not going to be a part of your when you actually believe those young guys are going to be at the level of carrying a team to playoff contention or playoff every year and championship contention. Yeah. Van Fleet and Dylan Brooks are going to be on the other side of 30.
All right. Score yourself a Taylor hookup at R&R Auto Glass right by the airport at 281 in Tacoma. If you have glass damage with your vehicle, doesn't matter what you drive, could be a pickup truck, could be a sedan, could be SUV, a van. They got a great inventory right there by the airport at 281 in Tacoma. It is R&R Auto Glass, and don't forget to mention me when you go on there and get your work done. And they're fast, too. Don't screwing around 3 days having a carpool or Uber to work. Call my boys at R&R. Get your car in there and get your glass fixed quick. And don't forget to mention me and get a Taylor hookup. It is R&R Auto Glass right there by the airport at 281 and Tacoma. All right, it is Taylor Live. You can watch this on YouTube. Listen to it on Spotify. You can watch it on Spotify, too. Unless you're listening in your car, don't do that. Please subscribe to this show. As the days go by, we're going to start coming up with more incentives to be a subscriber. Please tip us if you want to by going to buymeacoffee.com/Mike Taylor Live. You can leave us a voicemail on Spotify. We're a work in progress. We're like PBS. We're getting by on your contributions. If you'd like to, if you want to sponsor people I Want to Punch Wednesday, hit me up. We have a package in which you can sponsor People I Want to Punch. The most popular fucking segments that I ever did in the 15 and a half years I was on the ticket were Entertainment News and People I Want to Punch Wednesday. And it was not close. And not once in the 15 and a half years did they ever get me a sponsor for either one of those. So I'm saying now, Thunderdome, it's time to end that shit. If you want to help sponsor one of our bits, Ask Whip Tuesday, People I Want to Punch Wednesday, we'll create a bit for you if you want to put your name on something that we do that's one of those timely segments, like one of the, hey, it's so and such Monday. Get your ass in here and slide into my DMs and we'll talk. All right, boys? All right. Y'all have a great rest of the day. Love y'all hard. Thank you to Thunderdome. Thank you to DJLG.
We really need a PBS-style voiceover at the end of all these up. You need to do the, this episode was brought to you by the kind contributions of R&R Auto Glass.
Yeah, it's like, goddamn, them fucking Spurs, we're going to kick everybody's ass. This show brought to you by...
Exactly. It's a good juxtaposition.
And by McFinnigan's Bar.
And
located conveniently in central San Antonio.
And from
white people
like you. Thank you for watching.
All right, that's it. We're done later. Love you hard.
Oh, come back, you puppy!